YouTube, I'm back with another video. Today I want to actually break down how you can generate the highest intent life insurance leads. It's currently 2024. These strategies are going to be useful for 2024 and beyond. A lot of people are learning how to generate life insurance leads, whether it be through my channel or numerous other individual agents or agency owners. But in this video, I'm going to be showing you the top secrets that most people do not know and the inside scoop on exactly how you can set up your ad campaigns, your ad creative, and your ad copy to be successful. You guys will not want to miss. Make sure you guys, as always, like, comment, subscribe. See you guys on the other side. All right. YouTube, what's good? So I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to be breaking down some simple strategies on how to generate the best Facebook, Instagram leads for any business. So little story on how we got here. My friend who plays in the NFL reached out to me and was like, hey man, I know that you work with life insurance agents, real estate agents, wholesalers. You've had some people reach out to you about solar. You've worked with individuals who have apps. Your team has over 10 years of experience doing lead gen. I have an idea I want to bring to you for a football camp that I want to do. And I think it's pretty cool because the strategies that I'm about to show you work for any industry. And the reason is because these principles are everlasting. They're not going to change as times change. The platforms may change. It may not be Facebook and Instagram. It may be a different platform, but this is basically digital marketing in a nutshell. Now, as you grow and you practice these skills, things will get better. So I'm going to roll through each of them. Number one is understanding the industry, right? And I think that before you get into lead generation or you want to figure out how to get more clients or do things yourself, you don't want to buy from a source. You don't want to pay a marketing team. You want to keep everything in-house. I get it, right? And the reason why I say I get it is because that's how I was when I was first introduced to the idea. But the thing that you have to do before you decide to actually start generating the leads or becoming the marketer yourself and not paying somebody is understand the industry that you're in, right? So myself, I always talk about life insurance because I spent a year and a half as a life insurance agent selling, falling on my face, spending countless hours figuring out how to sell. So when I learned how to generate the leads that I was selling, I knew what clients saw. I know what the issues and problems they were going with, and I knew how to create a system. I think part of just marketing or selling leads is not just being able to do that step one, but it's being able to go to step two and actually knowing how to serve the individual who's buying or working with you as a service for your marketing. For me, I knew how to do that because I was an agent, right? So whatever industry you're in, right? This strategy, I always talk about this on a lot of my Instagram reels is like for the football camp. If you're a football player, like what is the targeting going to be? Where do you go? What are people interested in? Like when it comes to running ads online, yes, you need to know a lot of nuances, but once you get the fundamentals, it's all about you knowing the client. Like if you are a shoe person and you know what is really popular or you are into fashion, like you can look at something and say, hey, if I put this in front of 50 people, they wouldn't like it, right? I know what this target audience looks like because I've been a consumer. So understanding the industry from the inside and the out. If you haven't spent any time in the industry, it's going to be not impossible, but very difficult from the beginning to understand. Now you're going to shorten your learning curve because you've been on both sides of the fence. One as the consumer, as the person who has used or been in that industry, and now as the marketer. So a perfect example, right? For life insurance, I've spent time going into houses with individuals between the age of 50 and 85 who can barely afford to pay for their final expense and cremation and burial costs, right? Because they're in the inner city or they're in the country and they are on Social Security or disability and they make $800 a month. And then after they spend all their money, they're left with like $100, $150 every single month. So if you go and you try to sell them a policy for, $50 a month, they only got what's the likelihood that they cancel? So the reason I say that is if you know that as the person who sold before, then you can create advertising that speaks to their language. Hey, if you have X amount in savings or you are on Social Security, what this program is able to do is it will actually, whatever it is, right? And you can create specific wording for that. Now, I'm not saying that you try to be manipulative, but I'm saying that you can speak the language to somebody who may be interested in that, right? If you just say, hey, you can get $50,000 for a low price, like what type of people do you think are going to fill out the request, right? If you've been in houses or talked to clients who say, man, I think that this is free, or I didn't know what this was, that's not good. Just like if you sell a really high expense, high ticket product and you get a bunch of tire kickers on the phone who think that it's supposed to be $100. Give you another example. An individual that I've been in contact with wants to potentially work with us for us to sell their dogs for them online and sell their training services as a dog trainer, right? And one of the things that they came to us and told us initially was that people they've tried to work with in the past have got them a ton of leads, but those people who are picking up the phone and they're talking to, they want, Frenchies for $500. It's like, man, people are selling it for $5,000, $6,000, $10,000. So how do we get rid of those people who on the front end aren't really looking for what you're trying to sell or looking for what you're trying to give them? You over deliver by knowing the customer and knowing the language that you can speak that's going to work for them. So if you want people who want to buy Frenchies, right, a high end, high ticket dog, there's certain targeting demographics. You know what the, stereotype of a person looks like, right? So that is a very simple framework for knowing how to understand the industry. Once you get that part down, you really have all the other pieces. You know what the colorway looks like. You know what people will click on. You know what little small keywords and nuances work, right? So you're able to speak their language before you even do any ads. So I always tell people, spend some time in the industry. And if you haven't been in the industry that long and you're trying to run or generate leads or do marketing, it's going to be very difficult because you don't know everything about the consumer on the inside and the out on both ends of the fence. So that's number one. Number two is I always suggest that you use simple videos and images. Everybody wants to say that, marketing is about having these very elaborate images and websites and landing pages. But I'm telling you, if you looked at our opt-in rate for our landing pages where they're extremely elaborate and then our most dull, straightforward pages with just some simple information get a higher opt-in rate percentage than our super high intent, elaborate colors, all these images like that can work, but simple will always work. Simple is straightforward for everybody. So simple should be straightforward when it comes to your images and your videos. So you should be creating images and videos that reflect what you're trying to portray. If you just grab a phone and record a video and say what you're doing, you will probably get more clicks than if you try to make this crazy AI generated video with all these other nuances. Like, just keep it super simple. They say that in sports all the time. Keep it stupid simple. And you want to do the same thing. Grab your phone, get your friend to grab your phone, go against a white wall or a wall in your house, something like right behind me, record and say, hey, my name is blah, blah, blah. Here are my products and services. Here's why I think you should work with us, or you should buy it, or you should blah, blah, blah. If you're interested, click learn more. If you're interested, click sign up. If you're interested, click whatever it is, whatever your call to action is. It's very simple framework. Now, as you grow and get better, you're going to add different nuances to it, right? So the next part is going to be ask qualifying questions. So when you're generating leads, there's a section on all platforms where you can ask additional questions. Most, platforms will have first name, last name, email address, phone number, whatever it is. But then from there, you're going to have another list of questions that you can ask. It'll be multiple choice, open-ended, conditional questions, meaning if they answer this, show them this. If they answer this, show them this. You're going to want to ask qualifying questions. Now, the key is how many of those qualifying questions do you want to ask? Well, one person could say, hey, I want to ask 5. The next person say I could ask 10. The next person say I should ask 2. Some people say I should ask none. I don't think you should ask too many because you don't want to ask so many questions that people don't fill out the form because they're like, wow, this is way too much. You want to ask the most important. So what I do with all of our clients, I say, what are the 3 most important questions that you feel you need to know about your client before they get on the phone with you? And then they'll give us those 3 and we'll work backwards. We'll start with 3. Depending on, the cost per lead or the cost per conversion, we will scale back until we get to the point where if we have one question, but the price is right and the quality of the lead is the same, that's the one we're going with. I don't believe in just like starting, I do reverse ladder, not forward ladder, however you want to say it. I want to start with as many questions as possible, work my way backwards rather than starting with little questions, trying to work my way up. And the reason I do that is because I can analyze where the drop off is. I'm asking too many questions. People are clicking on it, but they're getting here. If I do it reverse, the way I think about it is now I have people clicking, but I'm adding more questions. I can tell where, as I add more questions, but for me, I know that if they went through all these questions and the quality of the lead is still not good, then it has something to do with my advertising. On the front end, I can't do that if I only have one question because there's so many. Well, did I not ask enough questions? Is it my advertising? If I ask all these pre-qualifying questions and you pick up the phone and still don't know what it is, then my advertising was way too juicy. So the next thing is, and the last thing is going to be start with open targeting, right? These paid advertising platforms, as more people get on them, they they have to lean more towards having higher quality open targeting because they know that more users are getting on these platforms without really knowing what they're doing. So open targeting is going to be your friend. I typically like to do 2 ad sets, right? One open, one targeted to filter out what's going to be better. And then after like 7 to or 14 to like 20 days, I take one out and I just roll from there. And that's really what I like to do. And I've seen the best results with that. So I hope that this helps. This is more of just like a strategy. I'm not going to share my screen or go through anything because I don't want this to be a copy and paste method. If you want to see more things about like how we do it, I have previous videos for that. But this is just like how to generate the best leads and how to do the best marketing is to follow this. Understand the industry that you're in. Really understand it. Not just plainly, but really, really understand like the clients and what other people are doing, your competitors. Number 2, use very simple and straightforward images and video. KISS. Keep it stupid simple. Ask qualifying questions. Start with the 3 most important questions. Work your way backwards. Take them out. Right. So if you have 3, 2 of them are multiple choice, one of them is open-ended, slowly take them out to see which one the intent still stays. Right. Because I believe that if you pay like $70 a lead, you'll probably have a super high intent lead. But then the issue is, can you scale with 70? So if you go from 70 to 50, you take one question out. Can you scale with 50? If you go from 50 to 22, and you haven't seen any drop off, then that's probably where your money maker is. Unless you want to switch the question to take your price down even lower. But the way I look at it is if you find something good and it's a little bit out of your range, but it's still converting well, I would still go with it. And I'm a firm believer in lead generation because I think that you cannot beat getting a phone number, an email address, and a name to call somebody and ask them about something they inquired about. What you do after that is totally on you. But you have every single business in the world has to sell. So I'm going to make my marketing as simple as possible and rely on the selling because you could do a lot of marketing and still not get any sales because some people just want to talk to people before they buy something, right? And the last one is start with open targeting. It's very favorable. Meta, Google, TikTok, Pinterest, LinkedIn, like they make a lot of money from advertising. They want you to use open targeting and they're going to try their best not to lead you wrong, right? So I'm not going to say everything's going to work great, but they're going to try their absolute best not to lead you wrong. So I hope this video helps. If you guys have questions, as always, please drop some comments below. As always, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.